Hello and welcome to Finger Thinking, a channel dedicated to analog productivity and creativity tools. Today we are going to do an unboxing and review of this generic black fountain pen. I am a bit of a sucker for trying cheap Chinese pens, and I have been consistently impressed with the quality of them. So this is another one that I didn't have, that I saw come up on Amazon. It was $17, so I thought, let's give it a go. So I've opened this enough to see that there's a pen inside it, but that's as much as I know about this pen. On the Amazon listing, it was listed as a Dearawee. Never heard of it, and the description for the pen was black fountain pen, cool fountain pen with elegant design, 0.5mm nib. It has three reviews on Amazon with an average of 4.6 stars, and that's as much as I know about it. So let's have a look. So it comes in a box. So for $17, they don't always come in boxes. Certainly the cheap ones I buy on eBay don't come in boxes. They just come in this little cellophane bag. But all right, so we have the sticker. So black fountain pen, cool, all men and women writing, new, made in China. Okay, good start. But it's nice, even though I don't typically store them in their boxes, I tend to take them out of their boxes and put them in a kind of, I've got like a big pen case. It looks like a jewelry case. I do always keep the boxes, and I like to have the boxes just in case I want to return it, just retire it for a while and get it out of the pen, the larger pen case. I like to put things back how I found them. So let's pull this open and have a look. Okay, so just a little cardboard tray. I don't even know if this comes with an ink cartridge or I don't remember what was included, and I didn't look when I just looked up the price that I paid for it. Anyway, so I'll pull this. Wow, I can't even get this out of there we go. So often these loops have elastic on them. This is not elastic, this is just ribbon, so there is no give on it. All right, interesting. So the pen comes in a plastic sleeve. It has a little bit of text on it. Okay, so it's a Hero pen, rightio. So I don't know why they call the brand as Dearawee, but anyway, so this is a Hero pen, product of Hero prohibit to imitate. That's always ironic coming from a Chinese pen, isn't it? Anyway, so we'll put that to the side and have a look at the pen. So the pen, straight away, I have other pens like this. So it has a textured finish on the barrel part of the pen. The lid is smooth. It's a metal pen. I can never tell till afterwards whether the phone actually picks it up on camera, but I think we can see the texture there. So if we look at the pen, it does say something here. So it does say just at the bottom of the main section, it's got some Chinese characters, and then it says Hero. Okay, so it aligns with the packaging. I don't know much about Hero pens. So what I do know about Hero pens is that, yeah, they're made in China. I did Google them. So some fun facts about the Shanghai Hero Pen Company. So it was actually founded in 1931 as the Wolf Pen Manufacturing Company, and was renamed in 1966 to the current name of Shanghai Hero Pen Company. It has more than 100 trademarks in China, and by the 1990s, the Hero brand fountain pens were pretty well respected and had a decent reputation in China. According to Wikipedia, they were the best Chinese brand fountain pens you could get. Also internationally popular in the 1980s and 1990s. So those days are well before my fountain pen days, so I'll have to take the internet's word for it. Some of its hero pens, such as the Hero 616 or Hero 100, resemble that of the Parker 51, which is kind of ironic considering we just read the do not imitate on the plastic. Anyway, so that'll do. So in the pen itself, this kind of hatching on the body, this textured body, this is pretty common. I have, let's see, what have we got? I have this Scrivy, which is another generic kind of Amazon, it was actually not generic, it's an Amazon fountain pen. This has the same sort of body on it. And I think the Hongdian Black Forest has a similar body. Just a sec. And here I am with my Hongdian Black Forest, which does also have that same hatched texture on the body. So if we put the Black Forest and the Hero next to each other, very, very similar, but the pen is a different shape. So we start to see, maybe better if I put it down here, we can see that this is the Black Forest is just a straight body pen where there is a taper to the Hero pen. Anyway, enough of that one for now. So yeah, black metal. If we go from one end to the other, the finial has, whoops, sorry, this kind of weird ball kind of point thingy on the end of it. I don't know what that's about. I don't know if that's a standard Hero detail. The clip is, yeah, it's metal, but it's just a fixed clip. So I don't use them to clip over my pocket or anything like that. Anytime the clip gets used is just to slot it into a pen kind of case or to stop it from rolling off the table. The anodizing of the metal, it's not great on the back of the cap. It might be a bit hard to pick this up on camera, but you can see the kind of coppery color in behind there where the anodizing didn't get to very well. All right, so let's take, all right, so it's not a screw cap, it's just a push. So interestingly, I don't know if the camera will pick this up. Can you see, just so underneath it, this little hole kind of bit here seems to be, when I look inside it, or maybe that's just the shiny end, maybe that's just where the sleeve inside the pen cap doesn't cover. Anyway, that's a bit different. If we look at the lid, so there is a plastic sleeve on the inside here, so that's pretty standard, so I can't see an O-ring or anything on this, so that will be what seals it. So that plastic sleeve, when it gets to the thicker part of this section, it does seat very nicely, so that's good. So the cap, okay, pretty plain. Now the body of the pen, so there is some engraving on the nib and it does say Hero on the nib, so I don't know how well the phone picks this up. So if it doesn't pick it up very well, I'll try and take a photo of it and put it as an insert. But maybe you can see the engraving. There's nothing, oh, there's a flower, which I think is the Hero symbol, and just a little bit of kind of a few decorative squiggles. So the nib is, yeah, so it's a dark, it's anodized steel again. I'm a fan of the anodized steel nibs more than just a steel nib. I think they write a lot smoother, so it'll be interesting to check with this one. Just looking at this, I think this is an extra fine actually. If I compare that to, and I'll pull out one of my, well, let's have a look at the Scrivy. So this Scrivy is an EF, and if I put them next to each other, I think the nibs on those look pretty similar, actually. I think they both look like EFs. I think that looks like what in other brands is a 0.38 millimeter nib, not a 0.5 millimeter. So, okay, the section is plastics. Now, sometimes in these pens, this little ring here is a different kind of color detail. It's not on this. I don't think it's all the same part, though it possibly could be. If we unscrew it, Okay, so we have a converter, which it's a cheap Chinese pen, so that doesn't surprise me. Well, that's a little bit different to other converters I have just off camera. So like this is a like a Jinhao converter, and it's actually quite a different shape. So quite a very different model converter. This one does have a little kind of agitation spring, which the Jinhaos don't. Always fascinates me that your cheap Chinese pen gives you a converter, but your expensive European pen doesn't. I've never understood that. But yeah, so I don't know. Oh, it does also have, I think that's the little hero. Oh, good gracious. I keep looking at this and taking it off the camera. Sorry about that. It's a little hero emblem there. So that's interesting that they brand even their cartridge, which is good. But then so does Jinhao. Jinhao just puts the name of the company on their cartridge with their converter. So, okay, we have a converter. Size-wise, this is going to be interesting because this is a Jinhao, and out of the Jinhao pen that this came out of, that fits a Lamy cartridge, and that hole here is much bigger than a Lamy cartridge. So we might have some fun experimenting with what does and doesn't fit in this. Anyway, let's put it back in there for now. So it doesn't have an extra cartridge in the pen, like your Kavekos and stuff often have the cartridges in the barrel, but then that's because they don't come with converters. There's no O-ring or anything like that here to seal the pen. Squeak, squeak, squeak. Where's my Black Forest got? My Black Forest doesn't have that either. All right. Neither does the scrivy, but I suppose this thread on the scrivy is a plastic insert, so maybe that helps with kind of just sealing any air out of the cartridge. Okay, so if this doesn't come with a converter, or it doesn't come with a cartridge, I'm not a big fan of using the converters. I just don't like the ink volume. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and get some empty ink cartridges and we'll have a bit of a play and see what fits and what doesn't. Okay, so I have a selection of cartridges, of empty clean cartridges here. This is just an international standard. This is an old Kaweco cartridge. This one is, it's an online cartridge, so it's international standard at one end and then the Lamy fitting at the other. This is a Schaefer cartridge. I pulled that in only because, I'll put it back in the pen, of the unusual kind of very flat end on the converter. And then this one, this one is out of, I think it's out of the Wordsworth and Black pen, the turquoise one I reviewed some weeks ago, because the cartridges that came with those were unusual. So they kind of were, they purported to be standard international, but they were ever so slightly bigger. And sometimes the ends on those aren't always the same as, say, the end on a Kaweco. It might not be easy to see on camera, but the holes between those two are slightly different. Anyway, let's give it a go. The first one I think I'll try is the Lamy end, because my other Chinese pens seem to like a Lamy cartridge, and I think I've got it in one. So that seated really nicely. It's a good fit. You can see that it fits nicely without being too tight. But whilst we're here, definitely not a standard international, definitely not the Wordsworth and Black, and the Schaefer won't even fit in the nib section. So Lamy fitting, we have a winner, which means that will also fit a Parker cartridge, and it will also fit I think the Waterman ones. Now, whilst I've got this cartridge in here, I do like these online cartridges. which are a German brand, because they are longer. I find little standard cartridges a pain in the bum, like they're half the size. And that's another reason why I'm not the biggest fan of converters, is because just the ink volume. So if you take that out of the way, the only issue that I find sometimes with these kind of double-sized cartridges is they don't always fit in the pen. So this one should, but sometimes with the taper, oh, no, it fits great. That's awesome. Because I have the online ink in more colors than I have the just empty Parker cartridges. All right, so good. What I will do is I will go and get some ink and I will be back and we will try a writing test. Okay, so I've got the Rhodia paper. This is just standard. This is from the red pack, but honestly, I can't tell the difference between the red and the black on all of them. I just think they're all nice papers that write well. It's a bit of a cream finish. I do have a, oh, this is a brown one. I have a couple of inked up cartridges that are ready to go. I think that one I'll leave behind. This is the blue one that I want to try. Now this is inked up with Wordsworth and Black Royal Blue ink, which is my favorite ink in the world. It's just I want to say an Amazon cheapie, but considering you can get like Schaefer ink, bottles of Schaefer ink or Parker Quink for like $9 or $10, and that stuff retails at $23. It might not be the cheapest ink, however, it does come in a bunch of colors. It comes in a blue and a red and a pink and a green and a purple and a black. I only have the blue, the red and the pink. But yeah, it retails at $22.90 on Amazon. It is frequently $19.90, so marked down to $19.90, and then you can often get a 10 or 15% discount coupon on top of that. So I wouldn't pay retail. I don't like paying retail for anything. So if you want some, just watch for a couple of weeks on Amazon and eventually you'll be able to pick it up for $18 or $19. Sorry, $17 or $18. Okay. So what we'll do is I will put the ink in the pen and then we'll see how quickly it starts writing. I assume it's good to go. I haven't played with it. I expect these things to work straight out of the box. Oh, and this is a Parker cartridge, by the way, not the online we were looking at earlier. And thank goodness it fits. All right, well, this is taking a moment to come through. I will put up, I'll time it when I'm editing the video to see how long it came up. It took to start up, and I'll put it up in the corner somewhere. Wow, it is not liking this. So far, Hongdian. Let's try it. I don't like scratching up my expensive paper. Let's try it on cheaper paper. Wow, well, I think we're going to call that a bit of a hashtag fail. I'm going to play with this off camera for a bit and see how much longer it takes me to get the ink coming through. Okay, so that was just strange. That took a good kind of 3 minutes at least. It actually got to the point where I pulled the blue cartridge I put in it, out of it, and put an inked up online cartridge in it that I had. So we can see this has actually got green ink in it. It doesn't look green on camera, but it's very definitely green ink. To see if maybe the ink wasn't right or the Parker cartridge didn't actually fit. This is one of those online cartridges. But yeah, so the ink's coming through and it's blue, which means that the ink was feeding all the time. It just is a very, 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 very slow feed. So just to confuse everything, I'm going to take this cartridge back out of it. I'm going to put the blue one back in because I don't want green ink in this pen. And we'll do a writing test. So yeah, switched over to the cheap Amazon Basics paper. I love this paper. It's pretty good with fountain pens, and for the kind of, you get your 12 note pads for 11 bucks or whatever. So this is just my good scribble pad that I'm pretty certain is not going to clog up the nib of my pen. Now this ink's a funny one, right? So I don't have another pen inked up in this color because this should be a pure royal blue, but you can see that the green is mixing in with it almost straight away because that's not royal blue. Well, certainly off camera it's not royal blue. I don't know what we can see on camera, but we should see probably a period of green ink coming through, and then it'll be weirdly blended for a while and then go back to the blue. But yeah, so if we backwards write, that's a nice fun stroke. Okay, so initial thoughts is this definitely, even though it's an F, and I just don't think the camera's going to pick that up in any light. It's definitely an F down the bottom under hero. So not an F at all, it's an EF. All day long does this write like an EF. But I will do some writing with it for the evening and write off camera and just see what I think of it, because so far I like it. I like it just as much as probably, so this is my Scrivy, which is an EF. So far it writes really, really similar to that. The Hongdi and Black Forest, which is probably the scratchiest of the three. So far so good. It's very smooth for an extra fine nib. Sometimes the extra fines are scratchy. I do think that that's partly because it's anodized. I have this theory that any sort of coating on the steel, be it an anodizing, or if it's actually a gold gold plated nib, they always write smoother than the steel ones. I've like 80 pens and they all do. It just seems to hold for my 80 pens. Okay, so that's where we're up to for now. What I am going to do, yes, I'll go and write with this for the evening, and I will come back and I will finish off this review in a couple of hours. Okay, I'll be back soon. Okay, so it's a few hours later. I've been writing with this pen, and so I'll give you an update on my thoughts and just a few things I've noticed about the pen since I was off camera. The first thing is, I don't know if there's such a thing as a fake hero pen. I've never had one before. Maybe I need to buy more and check them out. But as soon as I got off camera and was looking at the pen in lower light, I could see that what I thought was black is actually, you can see the kind of copper color of the base metal coming through. It's actually much more of a brown. The paint job on this is so bad. It's really, really bad. I don't think it's supposed to be that color. I don't think there's any way I'm going to be able to get this color accurately on camera. I'm really sorry. But yeah, that's just, if you compare that to the black of, say, the Scrivy nib, which is black, 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 black. There is no, doubting that this is supposed to be black. But when you look at this, you're like, oh, is it supposed to be some sort of antique-y effect? If I gave it the benefit of the doubt, fine. But considering that the paint, and I think this is paint, this isn't anodized. It's a little bit patchy in some places. I think this is just poorer quality. So, and I've noticed the same thing on this section as well. So the body, this part of the body, definitely black, 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 black. As soon as we get in here, it starts to get a little, more of this antique-y chocolate brown look, which I think is a quality paint issue. Anyway, and also after a little bit of rubbing over this bit here, which says, I've got some Chinese characters and then says hero, it's almost like it's flaking away, and that's laser engraved. So I don't know what that's all about. Anyway, so do those cosmetic imperfections affect the writing? And the answer is no. I was pretty happy with this pen. It has a little bit more audible feedback than some of my other cheapy Chinese ones. So I thought, rightio, let's find the cheapest paper I have, which is probably this office kind of just A4 notepad that I'm pretty sure I've acquired from an office somewhere along the line. And I thought, I'm just going to test this pen on that. So let's see how we go. Ooh, that's the other thing I forgot to say. Right, so see this dry start here? This pen has been sitting without its cap on for 10 minutes. I did a 1-minute test and a 2-minute test and a 5-minute test, and it wet started fine each time, but it's been sitting there for, I've got my timer on off camera, and so it's been sitting there for now, since I've been yapping, 11 minutes, just because I wanted to see if it dried out, and it didn't. To be fair, it's pretty cool here at the moment. So we've had, because we're in the middle of summer, we've had weeks of between 35, 40 degrees up to 43 degrees. So it's been pretty harsh for fountain pens. So at 17 degrees, this is a pretty mild evening. And yeah, it certainly hasn't, it's not too dry. It's enough to keep starting. But what we'll find is that the stroke on this cheap paper makes this start looking like a medium nib. So that's a very different line width than we saw on the Rhodia paper. So I'm just going to cap that back up. Let's see what the Scrivy says. So these two have now just been sitting without their cap on whilst I've been talking, so only a couple of minutes. And the final one. All right, so I don't know if that was even audible on camera, but out of those three, the Hongdian is the scratchiest and made the most noise. The Scrivy didn't make heaps of noise, and so I'll put my caps back on them. And the Hero was probably in between. So anyway, I think my point, if I can get to the point, it is that because this is an extra fine nib, if you wanted to use it on cheaper paper, it is probably a better choice than, say, with a medium nib from another brand, or maybe this brand, but just a medium nib, because the cheaper paper seems to absorb more ink anyway, and so it looks like it's a medium nib. So this probably is a really good fit for cheap paper, because I did some writing on so Clairefontaine, which is in a Clairefontaine notebook, which is Rhodia. I also did some on just a generic, nothing kind of Office Works notepad, and on this one. And so it seems to write pretty well on all of them. I have to say, the nib is fine enough that it does change my handwriting a little bit. So I don't know if anyone else has this or has made this observation, that their handwriting can change a little bit, and the neatness will change depending on the pen. If it's scratchy, then like forget about it. It just looks like chicken scrawl. I don't have the neatest writing anyway. But I find the same thing with biros and ballpoint pens. If there's a pen that is smoother, results in nicer handwriting. So this is smooth enough that my handwriting is legible, but on the better quality paper, it doesn't put down as much ink. So it flows better on cheap. So there you go. Cheap pen with cheap paper. Let's zoom out a little bit. But otherwise, yeah, so the wet starts. It didn't dry out as quickly as I thought. The paint finish is pretty rubbish. I haven't had this knocking down around in my bag because I've only unpacked it a few hours ago and then road tested it. But I think it'll be pretty good. So that fits pretty solid. You can hear the snap. This ball thing, I hate this ball thing because it means I can't sit my pen nib. It means that if I want to just have it sitting up so I can rest the pen in it, I have to put it on some blue tack like that, which is a bit of a pain in the bum, but there are plenty, to be fair. Like the Hongdian has a curved finial on it as well, so I can't do it with that pen either. So, do I like this pen? Yes, I like this pen. So for $17.98, yeah, look, it's fun for a little bit of a play. I think I have, so I'll have a review of these up soon. I think the Jinhao 88 is probably better quality for half the price, but we'll cover that in a future video. But yeah, so I'm pretty happy with this. I will continue to play. I will do an update review at some point in the future. I will also use some more inks in it because at the moment it's only had the blue Wordsworth and black ink, which I know works well in pens. I'll mix it up with some colours and see how we go. But yeah, I will also do some more research and see if there's such a thing as a fake Chinese pen, which is typically a knockoff anyway. Because this is, I can't believe it, especially compared to the quality of the Jinhaos and stuff, that are also cheap Chinese pens that knock off other pen designs. I would expect it to be better. But anyway, if you would like to play with this, I don't think you're going to waste your money. If you're somebody who likes to have a variety of pens but is just on a budget, and that's a big thing, right? Like, as nice as the fancy German pens are, we'd all love them, but I'm not going to be going out and spending hundreds of dollars on a Pelican or like a Sailor or something every time that I want a new pen. So cheap as it is for me. So yeah, it is budget friendly. If you lose it, you won't be sad. So that's another thing. So that's my review. In a nutshell, I like the pen. It's pretty versatile. It writes on a lot of stuff. The ink flows nicely. I think it took a little bit of a start today, but that's okay. once it started, the ink hasn't stopped. So there's been no skipping or anything like that. So that's been excellent. So yeah, thank you very much for spending some time here with me today at Finger Thinking. I hope you've enjoyed this review. Please like and subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Have a great day.